The film our group has chosen to analyze is a movie called Perks of Being a Wallflower. It's based off of a popular novel that centers around a character named Charlie.
Charlie is a teenager who has just begun high school. He is someone who has been on the outside of the social scene his entire life. His favorite person in the entire world, Aunt Helen, died when he was a child, yet he was also struggling with repressed memories of her raping him. This left him feeling lost and vulnerable, as he couldn't help but feel guilty for being relieved at her death, but also conflicted over the fact that she died getting his birthday present that year. To further complicate the situation, his best friend also killed himself the previous year, leaving Charlie alone with his own demons.
The disorder that Charlie suffers from is post-traumatic stress disorder. PTSD is described as a disorder that occurs in individuals who have experienced a traumatic event such as death, war, natural disasters, and/or forms of personal assault. PTSD is included under the trauma and stressor-related disorders category. Some symptoms that are required to diagnose PTSD that Charlie also has are exposure to a stressor, in this case Aunt Helen's death and her raping him, flashbacks and nightmares, blame of self for causing the trauma, decreased interest in activities, feeling isolated, and irritability or aggression.
Now going into more detail about the stuff that he experienced. Emotional detachment and numbness. On the night of New Year's Eve, when most people are with family and friends celebrating the upcoming year, Charlie went on a walk outside all alone, isolating himself from the party he was at, and was recalling the events that occurred the night of his aunt's death. Emotional detachment is also another symptom that he faces when he kisses Sam in front of his girlfriend Mary Elizabeth. He probably didn't mean to hurt her, but in the moment he didn't realize. The third symptom that he faces is agitation and heightened reactions. In the cafeteria, he got so angry and irritable that he blacked out while punching someone. After he punched the person who was beating up his friends, he threatened to blind him.
The film does an incredibly accurate job in portraying the long-term effects of PTSD on the psyche. Following the traumatic events experienced, Charlie appears to experience the dissociation, numbness, flashbacks, and arousal in the form of fits and anger that typically result from PTSD, and yet these symptoms are portrayed in a way that doesn't make them seem exaggerated or distorted.
Furthermore, unlike many previous portrayals of mental disorders in films, The Perks of Being a Wallflower accurately portrays the symptoms of a mental disorder in such a way that allows the audience to truly empathize with what Charlie faces, and thus remove some of the stigma that comes with the label. It also helps to destigmatize the idea of seeking help from a psychiatric hospital, as it displays some of the positivity that can come from the experience. Because just as inaccurate and demeaning portrayals of mental illness and their associations can serve to distance and differentiate the majority of the population from those suffering, more humanistic and accurate portrayals like The Perks of Being a Wallflower remind us how alike we actually are, and how easy it would be to fall into the same role given similar circumstances.